Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about macros, why they're useful, which macros I use as a Death Knight, as well as how to create them. Macros are useful in multiple ways. They can save you keybind space, as well as help you gain rating in PvP and Mythic dungeons by increasing your efficiency. The macros I find the most useful as Death Knight are very simple. And starting off with my favorite macro for bursting that combines a lot of the powerful moves into one keybind, not only saving you keybind space, but increasing your damage. For Frost DKs, it's going to be a combination of Pillar of Frost, Empower Rune Weapon, Blood Fury Racial, plus your Trinket. This allows you to combine all your most powerful buffs into one button, making your burst that much more streamlined, creating even more burst damage to catch the enemy team off guard. Alright, now let's go over crowd control macros for Asphyxiate, Mind Freeze, Death Grip, and Chains of Ice. For these macros, you will want to use a focus macro and make sure to focus the target at the beginning of each round. Most of the time, you will set your focus to the healer by right-clicking the Gladius portrait. These macros can help you crowd control the healer without dropping the target you're trying to burst on. This helps you save time and increase your efficiency during your burst window to help land those kills. Not only that, but enemy healers like Discipline Priest need to be close to your healer to crowd control them with Psychic Scream. If you notice this, quickly grip him to yourself and use Chains of Ice on him, giving your healer plenty of time to evade it. Another type of macro will combine two spells together and use one if the other is already active. An example of this is my favorite macro for Unholy DKs. It combines Summon Ghoul with Transformation, which allows you to save a lot of needed keybind space. If your Ghoul isn't summoned, it will summon him. If he is already summoned, it will transform him, making it a lot easier to play the class. There are also macros to simplify targeting for your teammates and enemy players. These are target macros that will help you swiftly change the targets without having the need to click over their portraits, saving you time in game. Especially if you're a healer. A lot of the top healers have target party 1, 2, 3 macros, which help them heal between all three teammates as quickly as possible, which is needed during periods of high sustained damage. How to quickly create your own macro. You type /macro. You choose between general macros and your character specific macros. Now I recommend you use general macros if you have a lot of different Death Knights you're using across many servers or something like that, because then you'll be able to use the macro on all your Death Knights without needing to recreate it over and over again. But if you only use one of that class, I recommend making it underneath your character specific tab so you don't see it for all your characters. Now what you do from here is you click the new button, then you type in what kind of macro it is. If it's a burst macro, I'll typically type in boom. You click enter, and then what you want to do is you want to add all the spells that you want to use for bursting. Now you have to remember, you have to use spells that are off your global cooldown, which means it doesn't make your global go off, which puts a time between you being able to use your next spell. Now how to add all of the bursting spells that you would like to your burst macro. You click on in the space right here. You go over the spell that you'd like to add, you hold shift down and you left click it. That'll add this spell right there and it'll put you down to the next line, which is great because now we have to go add our second spell, which is going to be Empower Rune Weapon. Now that we have both of these added, I'm also going to go even further than that by adding my Orc Racial, which is Blood Fury, which adds even more attack power to my burst. And then what I'm going to do is also add my Trinket. So I shift click over my Trinket as well, and as you'll see, it's a /use effect and it's not /cast, so it's going to be a little bit of a different macro. And now what this will do is it'll allow me to use all those spells at once without having to waste time clicking each individual thing, which would take a lot longer than it just being in one macro. Now let's see that macro in use. As you can see guys, I have no buffs yet, but if I click this one macro down here, it gives me Pillar of Frost, Empower Rune Weapon, my Orc Racial, plus my on-use Trinket all in one, making my Pillar of Frost goes much more powerful. The combination of all this together is how you'll see Death Knights doing over 100k with Obliterates and also over 100k with Frost Strikes. Alright, let's go over how to make our own crowd control macros. you type in /macro, go over to character specific, you type new. What I always do is name it focus, so I know what kind of macro it is. Then you type in /cast, put a bracket up for target equals focus. That way the spell is always going to be on your focus and not on the person you're actually targeting. And then you're going to put your spell name, Chains of Ice. Now you're going to do this same macro for all of your crowd control effects that you want to be able to use on another target that you're not focusing. So for example, I'm also going to do this with Asphyxiate, my Death Grip, and my Mind Freeze. And now what these will allow me to do is set focus to a target like this dummy that's over here in the corner of the room. And while I'm bursting on this guy over here, I can asphyxiate my focus target without ever having to change who I'm targeting. And I can grip him, I can put Chains of Ice on him, and if you notice, I'm never changing who I'm hitting. I'm just hitting the same guy over and over again, while just putting CC up on the healer that would be over there. Now this is way faster than having to click the target you're hitting, then click over to the healer, put chains on him, click over to the target you're hitting. You could be clumsy and by accidentally off-click if you're not using tab. So having a focus target is extremely important for crowd control. It will make you gain so much rating in PvP. It's crazy. It's at least 100 points if you're able to get all these macros down and use them efficiently. Alright, now how to create target macros. Type in /macro, go to character specific, click new, type in party 1. So now we're going to type in /target, and then we're going to type party 1. And what this macro is going to allow you to do is target one of your team members without having to click on their profile, which is extremely efficient and saves you a lot of time between micromanagement of healing your teammates. This is the macro that you'll use to target enemies that'll be on the other team. You'll just replace the 1 with a 2 and a 3 for Arena 1, 2, and 3. Alright, now that you guys have learned how to save keybinding space and how to increase your rating in arenas and dungeons, that wraps up this macro guide. If you guys enjoyed the video or learned anything new, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe. If you have any further questions, I answer all questions live over on twitch.tv/Joekstv. I stream 5 days a week from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Time Zone. Have a great day, guys. Thanks for joining.